All right, guys, thank you. Yeah, we have 5 minutes. Well, let's see what we can do. Now, hopefully, how many of you heard of geocaching before? Just raise your hands. How many have heard of
Just if you heard about geocaching, write yes in the chat section or in the comment section. And let's see how many. We have one person who said yes. Wow.
Okay.
One person heard about Geocache. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Okay. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you would all be getting your phones out, putting the, getting the app, and be out there looking for different for the cache. So let's start with it and say and see. Let's go with our requirements. I'm going to go quickly through that. But if you don't follow, the worksheet and all the requirements are there for you to follow. So what is geocaching? We're going to define that. We're also going to look at, what is a GPS receiver, 2 ways of finding geocaches. We're going to talk about a little bit longitude and latitude. We're going to talk about the different terms: traditional cache, micro cache, virtual cache, multi-level. What items may be left in a geocache, good travel bug etiquette, cache in and trash out, what that means. And then we're going to show you how to actually find a cache in your local area. And then do a little bit of spiritual connection just because it's Sabbath there as well. Okay, so question then is the first one. Oh, the wireless man. Okay, what is geocaching? Define geocaching, right? So pretty much geocaching is a worldwide outdoor treasure hunt. Now, I know most of you love, if not all of you love treasure hunt. In fact, as Dan said, when he grows up, I think even when he grows up and he becomes a grandfather, he would still love geocaching, still love treasure hunting. I love treasure hunting. I love to find things, and when you find something, the excitement that you've actually looked hard enough and you found it. And so the geocache is basically saying any kind of collection of things, anything you hide in a secret place, but you hide it anywhere on the earth. Okay, so geo means earth, cache means a secret place. So there's a lot of things hidden everywhere across the world, and waiting for you to find. So let me go with a quiz, just to see if you're awake, just to keep your brain going. Now, when do you think was the first geocache hidden? When did anybody here hide the first geocache? Was it 1995? Was it 1986? Was it 2000 or 1945? What does the chat say?
All right, you have a question from Pastor Clifford. Come on, Pathfinders, we need to get this right. All right, Pastor Clifford, there is no definite answer, but majority are saying it's 1945.
1945. Okay, well, it's a little bit to find history. In fact, the first geocache was hidden in the year 2000. In the year 2000, not very long ago. So the geocaching is not a very old hobby or a very old sport or a very old. It's just about 20 years old, right? And so it's not an old. So nobody in the war thought about hiding things. Actually, it's somebody in 2000 that thought about hiding things. His name. Here's his name. His name was Dave Ulmer. There he is. May 3, 2000. He hid something, somewhere in America, and he put in the GPS coordinates. He put it on the internet, and he put it out there, and he said, "Listen, anybody wants to find it, be my guest, and the first one who finds it first, tell me about it." Okay, so he hid it, and it was found. Now here's a question. What do you think he hid in that first geocache? Was it the video? Was it books? Was it the slingshot? Was it the pencil? What do you think?
The question is there for all of us. Somebody said video, but somebody said book. But somebody said pencil. So what is it, Pastor Clifford?
Okay, the answer is all of it. Okay, Geo Mark he found a bucket, you know, and he put a video in there, he put books in there, put a slingshot there, put pencil in there, some other things he put in there as well, and he dug a hole in the ground, you know, put it there, and he allowed people to find it with the GPS coordinates. We're going to talk about GPS coordinates in a minute. So, okay. Now, how long do you think it took for that first geocache to be found? Any guesses? How long did it take? 1 week, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 days? How long did you think it took one person to find it?
Somebody said 3 months.
3 months?
Somebody said 3 weeks.
Okay.
He said 3 days. So, but we don't know.
Okay. The answer is 3 days. It took somebody just 2 people actually, took them 3 days to put in the GPS coordinates, go and look for it, and they found it, took a picture, and they said, look at Mr. Uma, we found your geocache, right? So 3 days, in the year 2000, 3 days, they found. Okay. There are at the moment over 2 million caches hidden in the world. So in other words, 2 million treasures hidden somewhere in the world, maybe under a tree, maybe in a postbox, maybe behind a telephone box, maybe, you know, in kind of fence. It's hidden wherever you can think about it. It's hidden there. 2 million. In fact, there's a statistic says in London, if you live close to London, if you live close to London there, there's about 8,761 caches found. So Pastor Dan, if you start now, slowly, when you come, you know, by the time you're 90, you would be able to find only the ones in London. Okay, so there's still time for you. So, but if those of you about 10 years old now, you know, you can start finding it and go actually wherever you go in the world. If you ever, what we do when we go on holiday, for example, you know, we go to Spain or we go to South Africa, we always, one day we would find it, maybe 2 days, we would take out in a holiday and we would go and find and search for a geocache. And it's fun because it makes your holiday fun. You don't just sit there on the beach or just sit there by the pool or eat yourself full. You actually go and you say, hey, here's a challenge. Let's go find a treasure there. Now, what can be hidden? What are hidden? Sometimes it's a small thing. You see my PowerPoint, there's something, it could be really something small, which is called a micro cache, or it can be something really big, you know, like the bucket that Mr. Omar put in there, and you can find a lot of things. So it can be from small to really, really big. So where did the word cache come from, do you think? The word cache, why would they call it cache? Why didn't they just call it a treasure hunt? Where do you think the word comes from? What are the chat? Some say France, cache.
Yeah, somebody's saying France. Somebody's saying it's a French word.
It's a French word? Yes, it is. If you said French, it is actually a French word, you know, and it means secret or hidden. Okay, so something hidden that is there. So just a little a trivia pursuit question for you. So what do I need? What do you need to go and find a treasure? No, treasure then. People might think, oh, if it's hidden across the world, you may need a big map, and you need a compass, and you need a torch, and you need all this. No. You don't need all this. You only need what they call a GPS receiver. Now, a GPS receiver is an electronic device that pinpoints your exact location. Well, today, since 2000, they made the GPS receiver. Today, you only need your smartphone, right? Or your parents' smartphone. If you've got a phone, or your parents have a phone, or your big brother's got a phone, you know, if you don't have one yet, okay, you only need that, nothing else. And I'll show you how easy it is. Now, somebody's asked a question, what does GPS stand for? GPS means Global Positioning system. Okay, now it deals with satellites. There's a lot of satellites in space there. So what satellites do, they communicate to each other, and it helps you pinpoint a specific place. So you just need, all you need is a smartphone, all right? And you need an app. Now what I show you there, this is the app. This is the best app, and it's free, unless you want the premium version. The free one is just good enough for you to find the GPS, or sorry, the geocache. And there's the app. You can look for that app in Android or in Apple's App Store. You find geocaching, you download it, and you're good to go to find your first geocache. All right, so the question is, demonstrate how you find the location of a geocache in your area on the Geocache website. Now, remember, these PowerPoints will be available for you on the website, so you can go find it, and actually, because then you'll see all the pictures there, will actually tell you how to do it. So basically, two ways you can either find it by current location, or you can find it by what's the other one? I forgot now. Or by the geocache type. Okay, so by location basically means is on your app, you would go there and you would find your app and you would just type in there your current location. Now this is where the smartphone helps you. You just type in their current location, wherever you live. It will then open up a map and tell you all the geocache, all the treasures that are actually hidden close to you. And if you get your app soon, once you finish this presentation, find it, and you still have enough light. You still have enough light because the sun only sets about 9 o'clock. You know, you can still go and find and see. You'll be amazed how many is actually in your area already. So by your area, current location, or you put in your postcode, like I showed there, and it will tell you all of that. Okay, so going through it quickly, or you can go by geocache type. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about the type of geocaches. Now, remember I said you can have a small, something tiny, or you can have something really, really big. And that is classed in different kinds of types of geocache. So there's the two ways. You can either find it by location, or you can search for it by geocache app. Okay, so now, demonstrate entering the latitude and longitude coordinates in the GPS to find a geocache in your area. Now, today it says it depends on your receiver, but you don't need to put longitude and latitude things anymore, because your smartphone on your geocache app does it for you these days. You don't need to, you know, okay? So Geocache has made it very simple these days. You know, you only need to get yourself your mobile phone, rather, cell phone, and put in your coordinates, and it will be there. Okay, so define the following terms then. A traditional cache. Now, what do you call it? A traditional cache in your art means just a traditional thing like a bucket or a Tupperware container or a small canister with trinkets to collect. Stuff you can put in there like little toys or you know, little collectibles or pens or whatever you want to put in there. So that's a traditional one. Traditional means basically, remember what Mr. Ulmer started by putting books or whatever you wanted to put in there to hide, right? The second one is a micro cache. Now, a micro cache is a tiny little, and I'll show you, we actually, in a little video, I'll show you, we actually went to find a micro cache, and it's just a little small container, small container like a, you know, like the old photo canisters, or just a little micro situation that you can find. And, you know, that's a micro cache, just a small thing. It would just have a little piece of paper. You're looking on the sheet there that I have is just a little canister that we found with a little piece of paper, and that's a micro cache. A virtual cache, that's also interesting if you're not able to go out. Now when we had lockdown, very stringent lockdown, nobody could go out, and so you could go a virtual cache. Now, a virtual cache is basically just finding pictures, right? So if you go on You can check vegancyprus.com. There's a website for you, vegancyprus.com, and you can do a virtual geocache by just answering a few questions, and you look out for different pictures on the website, and you just log that for you, right? So that's a virtual cache. A multi-level cache is the ones actually, ones are very exciting, because those are, like a real treasure hunt that actually has clues. So the person may have hidden 10 things, all around in different places, and then he sends you to the one, and then you find it. Then he gives you a clue, right, to go and find the next one. You move to the next one, maybe it's another mile, and then he gets you another one, and you go to the next clue, and so until you get to all 10 clues, you get the prize, whatever the prize is there that's waiting for you, whether it's a traditional cache or something that's there, and you log it and you say, whoa, I found all of these. So multi-level cache is a series of caches with clues leading to the final destination. Okay, so what is a travel bug or a trackable? A travel bug or a trackable. Now this one is also very exciting, because if you ever get a chance to hide a cache, and this hopefully you'll get it when you get too many, when you get involved in this geocaching and you find a lot of things, you can actually hide one yourself. Now, when you hide one, or somebody hides, a trackable, they put a little trinket, maybe a key ring or a toy or something in it, and then it has a little code on it, and that code is meant for you to take this toy and move it to another location, to a different geocache location, maybe across the world. And what that person wants to know is how far that travel bug actually travels, or that little toy actually travels. So what happens is, if you go to Portugal, if you ever go to Spain, right, and you find a trackable one, you take that, right? You take that and you say, okay, I'm going to take it to the UK. So when you get to the UK, you get to your community or your neighborhood, you look for another one, you put it in there, you log it on your geocache log on your phone. You said, now the trackable is in the UK, right? Now somebody else finds it, and they also say, look, I want the things to move. Somebody comes from South Africa, they find that, and they say, oh, I'm going back to South Africa. And so the toy moves then to South Africa. And so it travels across the world. And it's very exciting for somebody who actually hides it to find out how well and how far their cache actually travels. Okay, so time for another question. I hope you all understand what I'm going through fast, because the time is running and I don't want you, to be too long in this, but like I said, all the stuff are there and you'll be able to find it. So what items do you think may be left in a geocache? Any suggestions? What items do you think can be left in a geocache? In the chat.
All right, guys, we have a question from Pastor Clifford. So let's see. Oh, well, somebody says books, toys.
Books, okay. Pictures.
Oh, we have little toys.
Little toys.
Tapes. Games.
Yes, games. Okay. Well, actually, anything that you can think of. Now, somebody is very interested. He says food. Now, that must go to the next question. Okay, so you can put toys, books, key rings, pens, pencils, fridge magnets, crafts. In fact, even if you've collected the patch, from your camperee, for example, right? You can actually put that patch in there, and you can maybe use that as a trackable. Next, they say, look, I want this patch, this Pathfinder e-camperee patch actually, or my BUC camperee patch 2021. I want to see how far this actually travels. Okay, so anything that you don't mind sharing. Now, what we say by won't mind sharing, you're not going to put your mother's mobile phone or your dad's mobile phone in there, or your mom's wedding ring in there, right? I don't think your mom or your dad would want you to share that, or somebody else to take it and move it, right? So you don't want to do that. So what items may not be left? So somebody actually said food in the ones you can leave, but food is not a good idea. Why do you think food is not a good idea? Because what? Food are perishables, right? Food gets old. Yes, it will go bad, somebody says. Very good. So you don't put food. No sharp instruments you put in there, right? No medicines, no flammable items, no perishables. Perishables are things that will go bad, no valuables, and definitely no illegal items that you put in there. Then you will break the code. You know, you will actually go against the code of good geocaching. But anything else that you may think about that's not still valuable, that you don't mind sharing, you can actually put in a geocache. So, good travel bug etiquette. I'm going to show you a video for this one, just 2 minutes, just to, and they put it very, very nicely for you in terms of, you know, good travel bug etiquette, caching in and trash out, and how to stay safe. And then we're going to ask you some questions after that. Now, Pastor Dan, I'm going to unshare my screen. Now, where did I go there?
That's fine. That's fine. Some comments came on the Facebook saying from Patricia. She says there are sometimes old buildings which are caches, by the way. And,
yes.
And also, just to let you know, Cliff, when I used to do geocaches, I used to take a small New Testaments, put them you put them in the freezer bags.
Yes.
Because you don't want them to get wet. And I used to leave a small New Testaments which you can get for free sometimes.
That's a very good idea, because then we also witness through that, isn't it? Exactly.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah.
That way. Yeah. Thank you, Pastor. That's a very, very, very good idea. Okay, so I'm going to share this video now with you. So just to give you an idea, now give me a minute. The video, yes?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. Why is it not playing? No. Here we go. Okay.
Sometimes when you find a geocache, it'll be filled with seemingly random items.
You don't have to trade, but if you do, there are a few guidelines.
Trade equal or up.
Everything should be legal and safe.
Food and smelly items might attract animals.
And animals don't even know how to geocache.
Instead of being kept like trade items, trackables move from geocache to geocache.
They come in all shapes and sizes, and they all have a unique tracking code and the words trackable at geocaching.com.
Before you take one, make sure you know what to do with it. And if you're not quite sure, leave it for the next geocacher. Even if it's super cool looking.
To the untrained eye, geocaches and geocachers might look a little suspicious.
While you're out searching, keep an eye out for curious onlookers. If people are nearby, be as nonchalant as possible.
Geocachers are known for being environmentally friendly.
That means not trampling plants and animals and respecting natural areas.
We even have a thing called cache in, trash out, aka CITO. It means that whenever you're out geocaching, pack out any trash you see. This one's easy. Just think before you geocache. Come prepared, obey local laws,
And keep yourself safe.
Okay. Did that come out right? Pastor Dan?
Yes, it did. It did. Yeah. It was quite funny. and fluffy at the same time.
Funny and fluffy.
We loved it.
Okay. All right. So let's ask some questions, maybe, just to see, you know, if you've listened quite carefully there. Okay, let me see here. All right, hide, present the view. There we go. It should be okay. Yes. Okay. Some of the question there. What was known as a muggle? B, a curious,
Right.
suspicious
Question is
onlooker.
there. And the answers started flying in, and they're going for option B, Pastor Clifford.
Okay, a curious, suspicious onlooker. Now, you know, that's what we call a muggle. In other words, when we geocache, let's always be careful and make sure that there are not, you know, suspicious people lurking around that may just ruin the fun of geocache, right? In other words, they may find this stuff and destroy it or something like that. We don't want that to happen. So anybody that's curious or suspicious are a muggle. Right. What is meant, this is a very important one. What is meant by cash in and trash out? Does that mean you pay for rubbish? Put cash in and you pay for rubbish? Does it mean you dump your rubbish and you get paid?
Our
Pick up letter and keep your
for that
Geocache
trick, Pastor Clifford.
Sorry?
They're too smart for that trick. Everybody went for C.
Okay, C, yes. In other words, basically, when you go geocaching, when you search for your treasure, a good idea is, a very good etiquette is to actually, you know, make sure that the area that you're geocaching is always nice and clean. As they say, leave the area, you know, in the way that you would like to find it. Yes. And the person who hides the geocache may appreciate the fact that you've cleaned around that area. But it's also a good environmental etiquette to always be cleaning around where we go, right? So pick up litter, cash in, trash out. Okay, so now we're gonna go fun way and say, how do we go about, and show you some picture, maybe video, how we go about finding a geocache in your area, right? So you've got your app, you've got your phone. So you would open your phone, okay? You would put in current location, for example, all right? And here are my ones in my area. Now, if you look here, where I'm pointing my cursor, that's where I live, right? Now, imagine, it's just in my community, I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's at least 12 in my immediate area, a good, you know, few hundred yards walk. So I was excited when I saw that, actually see, wow, there's a lot of geocache. So I find it, look into my phone, and then what I would do is, on my phone, it would be saying, first of all, before you hit navigate, you would look for the description, right? When you find the description, it tells you, you know, a little bit about it, and then it would give you a description that says you're looking for a 35mm pot. Be careful during school run time as it gets busy. Please replace as fine, right? And then you would look at the hint. The hint says it's magnetic behind top left. Now, you would now look around and say, okay, when I get there, that's, you know, that's my hint. It's magnetic behind top left. You think about that. Okay, so then you would say navigate, right? You would navigate, and what the Geocache app would do, it would put you in the direction. So here is where I live, okay? And where the orange line is shows actually where I need to go. That's how simple it is. So now you know, you look at the streets, you would know definitely, it's in that direction that I need to go. So it also tells you how far it is. Okay, so it's only 456 meters. That's less than about half a mile not very far to walk. So then you go, and maybe I'll show you the video, maybe I'll show you the pictures in terms of how we found our geocache in our area, the first one in our area when we moved here. So we looked for it, we found it. In fact, you see there's 3 little smiley faces. Those are the ones I found already, okay? So we went through the hint, we went through the description, we navigated, it said 308 meters. This is the first one we found. The hint for this one was side of the green metal mesh. So we started walking. It was only 308 meters. So we started walking, we walked into the area, and then we got to the place. There's my daughter. There's the green wire mesh. And remember the hint said next to the green wired mesh. So we looked, and there you can see the small little pot hidden right there, right? And so we looked, we found it, we got the pot, we opened it, you know, and we found the log in there. We signed our name in there to say we found it. Remember, we put it back in the packet, put it back in the pot, hid it well. Again, we made sure that it's clean around there, and it's well hidden so that there's no muggles around. And then we went to find our other geocache. Now, how much time have we got? Okay, maybe there's time just to show this video to show you just how we actually did that. Okay, so I'll go here, and I'll go here, I'll go here, and this is the video that we want to share with you in terms of actually in real time how we went.
All right, now everybody, I've got my GPS. I have my phone is navigated. I pressed to navigate. You saw the picture, and it says 457 meters from here. So you're going to record. You're going to follow the route, and so you'll see how it navigates. Okay, let's go. So all we're doing is that we're following the line. Now, the line puts you across where the crow flies, right? So you'll see the orange line like I showed you onto the picture, but we're going to see how we're going to see and follow the road closest to where that point is. Now remember what we said, we don't want anybody to go by themselves. You always go with somebody else, and make sure that it's light, and make sure that you're safe. Okay, let's go. Okay, now you can see that's Kingswood Road. All right, now this is where the first point is now. If you can see, can you zoom in on that a little bit? Okay, you may not see it, but we hope you can. You'll see the orange line. Orange line says that way, okay? In fact, it says more towards the one side there, but we're going to go down this road, and we'll show it to you on the map later. Go down this road, go to the right, and then follow the road all the way. It's called Meadow Road, and hopefully we'll get to it. Okay, so it's now 436 meters, so you follow it. Okay. So here we are on another junction. The road now goes to the right hand side. So, but on my map, the geocache is still that way. Now, I can't go through a house, right? I need to follow the road. So always follow the paths, but always see that you can walk into the direction where the geocache is actually located. So let's go. Always remember, when you walk, don't walk in the middle of the road. you always follow, stay on the footpaths, and make sure that you are safe. And remember, there's the one point that we've always said, that cache in, trash out. Wherever you walk, if you see any litter, if you see any rubbish, always make sure that you try and tidy up the place where you go. Always leave it in a better place than what you found it. Okay, now we're coming to another junction. Now, the geocache is still down that direction, so we're still walking towards that. Remember, here's another junction. We always look out for cars, make sure that we're safe, and we know what we are doing. So we are at the moment at 227 meters from the cache. Okay, so you always follow and make sure that you get close to the point. Okay, right now it's beginning to get exciting, okay? Because at the moment it's 87 meters to the geocache. Now, you know, exciting. If you look ahead of you, it still looks like nothing is there. But we hope soon that we get close to about 3, 4, 5 meters. You know that in that vicinity, and then you look at the hint and see if there's anything around there. Okay. 50 meters, it's getting exciting, it's getting exciting. 45 meters. Now, we're at this junction, and on my GPS it says I'm 7 meters away. 7 meters away. Now, you hear that I'm whispering, okay? Because the important thing when we geocache, it's always, we must always remember that we don't want anybody that maybe gonna ruin the thing or remove the cache or damage something. So we always try and be as discreet and as quiet as we can, but still be safe. Don't look like a person who's about to break in, you know, looking around as anybody's looking at you, and you look very suspicious. But we're gonna see it's about 6, 7 meters in that direction, somewhere here. Show around. We looked around and we seem to come across here, and actually we looked at the hint, and the hint says magnetic behind top left. Okay, so that's the hint. It says magnetic behind top left. So now we need to look around and see. So this is magnetic. So obviously now, remember what we said. We want you to be as discreet. We don't want you to attract attention, but we also want you to know that you look for it. Also, you look for when you come to a place and it's about 3 or 5 meters in a vicinity, you take caution of where to look. Now, if you look at this side, you see there's a people's hedge, right? You'll see there's somebody's car. You'll see there's somebody's car again. So now you don't want to go look under somebody's car, somebody's boot of somebody's car, or somebody's, behind somebody's wheel, because it would not be hidden there. Or into somebody's house, or go knock on somebody's door. You look in the most obvious place, or thing that or a place where you know somebody may just be able to hide it. So this looks like a place because it doesn't belong to anybody. It's a council property. So you look that it's probably around here. So let's follow our hint. So it says magnetic behind top left. So we're gonna see now. This is a micro cache that we find. So we're looking for something really, really tiny. Okay. So magnetic behind top left. Feel around here. Ah, I found it. Here we go. If you look at this, it's really, really tiny. Now, this is what a geocache could look like. It could be really big, or it could be really, really tiny, okay? So we're gonna open it and see what is in there, okay? In the lid, and there we see, it's got the little log in it. So, open the little paper. Sometimes you need something sharp, you know, to get into something. If it's a really, really tiny pot. So put that there. You can open it, and you see all it is. It's a little piece of paper. Now, there's a few people that have found it. Somebody found it just in April. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to put our signature on there and say that we found it, log it onto our Geocache app, and the person who hit it will be really happy that somebody has actually found their one. Okay, so we found it, we're gonna write into it, and then we're gonna put it back from there. Okay, so we've signed our Geocache. We're putting it back. Always put it nicely back in. Okay, make sure it's tightened, now very well secured, and then you don't put it back immediately. You look around for anybody that may watch you, okay, and you always try and be very discreet in that sense, and you put it back where you found it. Okay, it's best to put it back where you found it. All done, and Geocache is found. So we go on to the next one. Remember, for our honor, you need to find 3 at least. So happy hunting, happy geocaching.
Okay. All right. That is, I just thought I'd chill time how to actually go about finding finding a cache, and you know, in real time you could see a little bit how we do it. Now, when we teach this honor actually in real time, I actually take a group of people with me and we go and find one. So, but we couldn't do that. So I thought, give me a video, show you a video to actually show you how to go about finding a geocache. I hope by what you've seen, you're excited to get your app and to start your first geocache hunt if you haven't done it. If you had, you know, I hope you'll be able to find so much more. Now, let me spend the last 5 minutes then just to share some spiritual aspects, because two of the questions ask, you know, what Matthew 6 verse 19 to 21 tell us about geocaching, and Jeremiah 29 verse 13. Matthew 6 verse 19 to 21 says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. What Matthew 6 verse 19 to 21 basically say is, like geocache, you know, like just like geocache is a great treasure hunt, and a lot of people go out and find it. Jesus says that we want you to think about your own life and your own, you know, how important heaven is for you, how important God is to you, that you don't only build up treasures, you know, in terms of lots of wealth and lots of good things, but you're actually thinking about your life and the fact that you want to be with Jesus in heaven one day. And when we actually connect our lives with Jesus, Jesus is actually saying we build treasures in heaven, because we are one of God's greatest treasures. We are God's treasure, and he's coming back for each one of us, and he wants us to be with him. So when we lay up for ourselves treasures in heaven, we actually say, Jesus, my life is a treasure, and I want to be with you one day. Jeremiah 29 verse 13 is very similar. It says, you shall seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. Basically, it's saying, Jesus says what? Yes, ye should be, just like we are one of these valuable treasures. Jesus wants him to be a valuable treasure for us as well. So he wants us to every day not only search for, earthly treasures, but he wants us to search for him through reading our Bibles, through praying, so staying close to him, find him and find his blessings and find his good teachings, so we can develop good characters for him. So that is the geocaching on. And remember, there's a worksheet that you need to fill in, and hopefully I've tried to answer most of the, if not all of the questions for you, except the fact that you actually have to go out and find a geocache. Hopefully we've shared all the information you need. Now, we've got maybe 3 minutes. Any questions that you may have before we finish?
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor Clifford. What we're going to do first is we're going to say thank you to you. It's because of recording, if that's right, Pastor Clifford. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop sharing your screen at the moment. We want to just give a big clap to Pastor Clifford. We had a comment on the Facebook which said, Pastor Clifford, excellent presentation. So if it's possible, guys, I'm going to let you unmute yourself. Let's just say thank you to Pastor Clifford for this beautiful presentation. Thank you, Pastor Clifford.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.